everyone, this is Build Series, and I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper. You may have seen our next guest, Skai Jackson, on her Disney Channel shows Jessie or Bunked, or you may have seen her on social media. But now, for the first time, Skai is sharing her experience of growing up in the spotlight with her new book, Reach for the Sky. Put your hands together for Skai Jackson.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Can we just comment the boots? We were just talking about them.
Yeah, we were just talking about them. They're so cute, right?
You're giving me fall. You're giving me sass. I just love them.
They're everything.
They're super high, too. Good for you.
I know, but they're comfortable, which is good.
Yeah, that's how you reach for the sky, because you got those tall, those tall heels. First, I want to just check in on you. I saw you in the little Nas X video. Why were you running from him?
You know what? I honestly don't know why. I was like, why am I running from him? Like, we should be together in the video. But no, that was such a fun video to film. His team reached out to me and they're like, hey, you want to be in the video? And I was like, yeah, like, this is so cool. But it was like a 3-day shoot, and Nas is just so nice. He's so genuine and down to earth. Really just a funny guy. But it was cool because it was like the whole time we were filming, like he was there on set and he was filming his parts and I was filming mine, but we never filmed anything together. Yeah.
It's just like a weird stalker hologram for you for most of the video.
Right.
Are doing more music videos, though? Is that something you'd like to do? You were so good in it. And it looks like kind of a fun way to act and also kind of combine your passion.
For sure. It really is. I mean, I don't want to do too many of them. If it's someone that I really love, like Nas, of course I will. But I probably won't do one for a while. But it depends. You never know.
You never know. If it's the right song, the right artist.
If it's the right person.
And I think Panini was a good, I mean, he's...
Oh, yeah. And it was my first music video. It was a good first music video.
That's a pretty good one. Congrats on that.
Thank
and
you.
Also, congrats on the book. It comes out today.
Yes, it does.
And it is so detailed. I mean, you start in the beginning and you come all the way up to now. Why did you want to write this book now, and how long did it take to sort of put it all together?
Well, for a while, people had always been telling my mom and I, like, oh, you guys should really tell your story. It could inspire people. And I didn't know the way to do it. But then one day I was like, you know what? I think I should write a book. And I feel like it's the perfect time to do it, especially in our generation. So I just told my team, and we worked on it right away. My book publishers got involved, and it kind of just happened right away. But the process was a little over a year in total, with writing was a couple months and putting all the pictures in and then doing the audiobook. So it was a long, long process, but it was a great journey.
Yeah. Did you ever keep a journal or anything, or did you just remember everything?
For me, I would have to write some stuff down, but I have a really good memory, which is a good thing. So yeah, when my publishers and everyone were asking me questions and talking to me, because I needed a little bit of help, of course, for my first book. But yeah, everything kind of just sparked in my mind and went right onto the paper.
That's also probably the benefit of writing a memoir when you're 17 or 16 when you wrote it.
Yeah.
Because you can remember things.
Exactly.
When you get my age, it's harder to remember. So I keep journals, but good for you.
Thank you.
I want to give people some background on you because you, like I said, you started in the beginning, and I didn't realize you started modeling so young.
Yeah.
So can you take us back to what age you started that and how that all sort of sprung up?
Yeah, so I started modeling when I was 9 months old, and that came about because my mom and my aunt were talking one day, and my aunt was like, you know what, you should really put her in the business or just send her pictures to a modeling agency. And my mom was like, I don't know. She was like, you know what, I'll just do it. And she sent my pictures, and 3 agencies called on the same day, and they all wanted me. So my mom went with Wilhelmina, which is my first agency, and I just kind of been working ever since then. So modeling heavy, and then my first commercial at 1, first movie at 4, it just kept going from there and there and there.
And how did you make that transition into acting?
It was, for me, it was pretty simple. Like I said, I had already been doing it kind of, and then I was so young, so I didn't really have a choice at first, but then I was like, you know what, this is something really fun, so I kind of wanted to transition into acting, and then watching my favorite actress, Raven Simone, and other people who I looked up to at the time and still do, so that kind of inspired me to especially want to keep pushing and keep doing it.
You do talk about Raven a lot, and she's somebody who I also grew up watching and inspired me in so many ways. So why was it so important for you to see somebody like Raven on the Disney Channel, and how did that sort of influence the path that you ended up on?
Yeah, it was because, she was a young Black girl on the channel, and you didn't see a lot of that at the time, a young Black girl doing her thing, especially on a huge network. So I felt like, first of all, Disney was something that I've always wanted to do since I was younger, and then see her doing it, it was like, if she can do it, I can do it too. So it definitely inspired me a whole lot.
I love that Raven is still on Disney too. And
I
she
know she's doing her
continues-
thing,
Yeah, she's so
directing, all of
impressive.
that.
I know. And I know you talk about producing and directing in the future. So you're looking at people like Raven too and how they
Yeah.
continue their career past the Disney Channel, really.
And it was really cool because when we were filming Bunked, actually Raven came back and then she was filming on the same lot. So I got to see her a lot. I would just be eating lunch and she would be walking. I'm like, oh, hey. But yeah, it was cool. And then she was like directing an episode of Raven. So I went on stage and watched for a bit. But it's really cool to see.
And Jessie was a really big deal for you. But what I loved in the book is that you also had a thing with Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
And you had to choose between like
I
the Disney Channel
did.
show and Boardwalk Empire. And I was like, what a big like
I
issue to
know.
have for a kid. That's so cool.
Yes, so I just started Boardwalk Empire, and I was like, oh, this is so fun! Like this is like my first like big TV show, and then I had to audition. I auditioned for Jessie, I think already at that time, and then a couple months later they called and they're like, oh, we want to fly you in for a screen test, but you have to stop Boardwalk Empire. And it wasn't a guaranteed thing I would get the Disney Channel show. It was just a screen test. So I was really nervous because I was like, no, like I really love the show that I'm on. But it happened for a reason, and I went to LA and I got the job. So I'm really happy about that.
I think you made the right call
I think I did too.
because you played Zuri for how long?
7 years in total. So Jessie first and then Bunked.
And when you look back at that experience of playing that character, what feelings come up? How do you feel about that whole sort of time?
It was a great journey. I mean, for me, Zuri was never a character that I had to act too hard. Like, she was just, like, already in me, just a little bit more extra than I am. But that was kind of like me in a sense, especially when I was younger. So it was great. Especially season 1 of Jessie, she always had, like, the funny, like, lines. It was crazy. And then even onto Bunk when she matured. So it was great to kind of, like, be this character for so long. And then also I am her, see her progress in a way.
What I think is interesting about this book is it is so detailed. And so you talk about kind of every step in your journey, and it is almost a guide for any young person who maybe wants to go into acting. Was that sort of your intention?
Yeah, okay. So when we first started the book, it was supposed to just be an anti-bullying book, which really inspired me. But then I was thinking, and my team was thinking, we were saying, you know what? I think it would be cool, even though I am only 17, well, 16 at the time, to do a memoir, just so people can relate to me more and see that side of me that they don't get to see all the time and learn more about me. So that was kind of the thing. And then we started writing, and I wanted it to be like a guide of like how I got started and giving the right information and saying that I go through struggles as well and that everything's gonna be okay. So it definitely is a guide, and I hope that people can be inspired by it.
I think it's so interesting for people who aren't in the industry to just kind of know what life is like on set, the highs and lows of it, the fact that you have to go to school, interacting with all your other co-stars. I mean, it really was sort of an education for somebody who maybe hasn't been a part of that world.
For sure.
Yeah. And I know you talk about Cameron Boyce a lot in the book.
Yeah.
You guys were on Jessie together. What does it feel like now that you guys had that time together, now that he's gone?
I'm so grateful that I had that time. It was 5 years. It was crazy 5 years, but it was the best thing ever. I got to spend every single day with him, so it was like having a brother, and everyone else included. But he was just such like a ray of sunshine. Anytime he came into the room, anywhere he would go, he would just cheer you up. He would make my teacher's day. He was just such a lovable person. So I'm so grateful that I got to spend those years with him for sure.
Yeah, it's really special, and I love the way his family's continuing his legacy and all of his friends in the industry. I mean, you can just tell what a kind heart he had by how people have just continued to pour out love.
Yeah, that was one thing that his family wanted to, keep, that we just continue his legacy, which isn't hard to do, and it's not like a pressure thing. It's something that we just really want to do. And the Cameron Boyce Foundation, you can donate to that. And then he has a clothing line he was actually going to put out himself, and they dropped some things on that, which is really exciting. But yeah, we just want to keep his everything he wanted to do, and put it out into the world.
And social media is a big part of that. And social media has been a big part of your life.
Yeah.
I'm from a time where I had years where I didn't have social media, and you literally have always had access to it.
Right.
And you talk a lot about how that has impacted you by being a young actor and performer. So in what ways has social media you've had to learn how to navigate it, given your role as an actor?
Well, I mean, for one, I started on social media at a very young age. I was 10 when I got Twitter, which I feel like Twitter is more aggressive than Instagram. and then I got Instagram when I was 11. So it was hard for me to navigate at first because, you know, sometimes I would get negative comments and just things I had to deal with, which not the average 10-year-old would have to deal with, which was kind of hard for me. But I had great support in my team and my mom who kind of helped me navigate through that. But yeah, so now I'm 17. I think I kind of got the ropes of it, but it was definitely difficult at first.
Yeah. Talk to me about being young and having to deal with trolls. I mean, that's hard for anybody to deal with, but you were on a big Disney Channel show, so did you feel like it was more aggressive?
Yeah, I felt like it was more aggressive, and like I said, I had just joined social media, so I never understood like why people would say those mean things, especially if they didn't know me. And I would try to like comment back and argue with them and then just keep arguing. But then I realized like, you know what? I have more supporters than haters at the end of the day. And then I was like, oh, there's a block button. That's great. So I use that all the time. And now I'm just like, you know what? If you have something negative to say about me, I don't really care. I'm kind of just like doing my thing. And sometimes I'll laugh at some of the comments because they're just ridiculous. But now I'm kind of just like, I don't really pay them any mind.
Yeah. It is a really freeing moment when you realize that you have more supporters than haters. Because it takes one negative comment to sort of make you feel bad about yourself, but then you might have 100 positive ones.
Right.
So you have to like kind of flip your idea in your head.
And then now too with Instagram, they have like comment blocks so you can put like certain words you don't want on there. So it's definitely better now than it was when I first started.
Definitely. But you have mastered the clapback.
Yes.
Which you are known for.
Yeah.
And you had a very kind of high profile back and forth with Azalea Banks that got you a lot of attention.
It did.
When you look back at that exchange, how do you feel?
I still feel, I mean, I obviously never wanted to get into a confrontation like that, especially with someone who was over 10 years older than me. Yeah, so I was only 14 at the time, and it was a crazy thing, but when I look back at it now, I'm really proud of myself because I could have handled it so much differently, but, you know, I let her know, like, no, you're not going to do that, but I did it, I feel like, respectfully in a way, and it worked out in my favor, so I praise my younger self for that.
You mentioned the word respect, and you do give like tips for giving the perfect clapback, which I thought was really helpful.
Yes, it is helpful because everyone always asks me. So I'm like, you know what? Now you can buy my book and you can see for yourself. But yeah, for me, the perfect clapback is if you want to put someone in their place, just do it politely and just let them know, like, no, you're not going to do that, but here's the facts, and there you go.
It's a very Southern approach where you're like, oh, bless your heart.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Oh, I wish good things for you because this is sad.
Best of luck. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your style a lot. It's something that I'm trying to adopt in my own life.
Thank you.
And also, I think the last step of that was like posting something and leaving it. You know,
right.
Not
just
getting too caught up.
Right. Just say what you guys say, then bye. That's it.
I do love how outspoken you are on so many issues, and specifically when it comes to Black women and their hair.
Yes.
And I thought it was really powerful for you to share your journey with your natural hair and how the industry wasn't always receptive to it, or they didn't provide Black hairstylists.
Oh, yeah.
So take me through that experience, because I do think that's something that people don't talk about enough.
Right. People don't talk about it, and I really wanted to because it's such an important topic. I feel like, especially because people who do look up to me, they have the same struggles as well. But for me, working in the industry at such a young age, I went through so many stylists, even on Jessie. And, you know, not everyone knew. They knew how to do everyone else's hair, but not mine. And that's okay. So maybe natural hair just isn't their niche, and they just need to be more educated on it. But it went through a period where, like, every season, it was a new person. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, when am I going to find someone? And then finally, the last season of Jessie, I found the perfect stylist, and she went over to me with Bunked. But it was really hard because not even just working on the Disney Channel, just other sets in general, they don't really understand sometimes how natural hair works and that you can't use every product in it. Or sometimes they'd be like, okay, so we want to dump water in your head and put mud in, and then we want your style back to how it was in like an hour. Is that possible? And I'm like, no. It's not like that.
We're going to need all day.
We're going to need all day, or not even all day. We're going to need the next day. So that's not possible.
We got to twist it up. We got to wrap it. We got to take it out the next day.
And they're like, why? And I'm like, you know what? But I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Not everyone gets it. But it definitely is something that is hard to deal with in the industry. But I feel like more people, especially celebrities, are speaking up about it. So I feel like the industry is changing and they are starting to respect us and hire stylists who get our natural hair. But it was a struggle for a long, long time.
I mean, it is definitely still a huge problem. Did you see that H&M ad?
Yes, I did. I saw that.
And you see that and you're like, how many people approved this photo?
Yeah, and like,
why was there no stylist on set who could just give her a proper hairstyle?
I'm like, I get what they're saying. Oh, we just wanted how every child's hair looks in a natural state. But I'm like, everyone else's hair looks somewhat okay. And you guys are going to do that. I just feel like it wasn't an appropriate thing. They should have knew better.
No,
or at least told the parent, like, you know, just can you fix her hair up a little bit, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of Black women in the industry have gotten used to doing their own hair. I interviewed Lorraine Toussaint, who's just this amazing actress, and she said for years she would go in and just do her own hair because she just didn't trust it. And now she's at a level where she can request certain stylists, but for a lot of women who just start out in the industry, you don't have that luxury.
Yeah, that's how I was too. I started out and I was using someone and I didn't like them. So I would come up my hair pre-twisted and then sometimes my mom would have to unravel it and they would just put like oil in it and be like, okay, you're done. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of work. But yeah, so it was definitely my mom always doing my hair. Even when I was on Jessie, she would do it the night before filming and then the next day. So I was prepared.
I think that's just something people don't think about. But do you feel like in the industry now you've been able to get your look the way you wanted and have the support that you need on set?
Yes. After a long journey of struggling with hair, now I have my go-to people who, whenever I'm doing a photo shoot, whenever I'm doing any TV show, I request them. They have to do my hair, and usually they're okay with having my team come. So I'm like, okay, good. And it all works out.
That is such a big deal for a Black woman. I'm happy that you can speak up and get what you need. Because if you don't look good, you don't feel good.
You don't. And it shows.
Yeah,
it shows in your face and the pictures, and you don't want that.
It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So we've got the book. You've got the acting. You're in the music videos. What are you looking forward to? What are you excited for in the next 5 years?
I'm really excited to obviously continue acting. It's always been my passion. But I want to put my foot in the beauty industry. That's something that I've been wanting to do for so long. I love makeup. I love beauty. Skincare, that's just like my thing. So hopefully I'll do something in that realm. I don't know, maybe do another book and hopefully direct, produce. I just kind of want to put my hand in every pot and not just stick to one thing and so hopefully it'll work out for me. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm crossing my fingers for you too, but I feel like I don't need to. I think you're going to be all right.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, we do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first one comes from Twitter. Edward is the man asked, what is your favorite episode of Jessie?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite episode of Jessie is one of the Halloween ones, and I believe it was first season. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I had a racer's costume on, and I was driving a little car. And there's a funny story behind that. It's my favorite episode because it was Jessie was a killer nanny, and she was chasing us. And one scene we're in the lobby, and when I run by, you don't see it, but I knocked into the side of the wall, banged my head and fell back. And if you look at the rest of the episode, I have a big goose egg on my head. That's so it's my favorite episode to watch. It's just the funniest thing.
I like that your favorite episode is when you got severely injured.
I know, and I went to the hospital after, and I was okay. I was okay.
You were clear.
But yeah, I'm you see this big bump on my head.
That's hilarious. Other question? Right here.
Hey, so you have modeling, acting, and now be an author under your name, and you're only 17. What advice could you give to those who are in your generation who think they're limited due to their age?
I would say never feel limited just because of your age, and I kind of felt that way at first. I felt just because of my age, I couldn't do certain things, but I feel if you really want to do it, you're going to do it no matter what, and never let anyone's words discourage you. So if you have a dream, completely pursue it 100%. I know there's might be times where you get down and be you know what, I'm younger, maybe I should do something else, it's not working. But I always feel if it's meant for you, it's definitely going to happen. And if you want to do it, you can make it happen. So never feel discouraged.
In addition to being young, you also talk about looking young.
Yes.
And how you have to sort of navigate that. Do you still feel that sort of pressure from the
Yeah,
because you look so young?
Yeah, it's crazy because I go on auditions and I'm going out for roles my age, but then there's adults who are like 25 going out for my roles. And I met Ashley from Riverdale and she's like, oh yeah, I'm 30, but I play a 16-year-old. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, you're taking my roles. Great.
Seriously.
Right, but so it's kind of a thing for me. I'm like, dang, I wish I looked older, or at least I wish I was taller so it would even out. But I feel like, you know what? Something great is gonna happen for me very soon. So I'm not too stressed out about it.
I have to say, I just watched The Politician with Ben Platt, and he's playing an 18-year-old, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Ben, you're amazing, but you're like 35.
Right.
So I'm there with you. Sometimes maybe a 17-year-old could play a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And one more.
Hi, I wanted to know your favorite quote from the book.
Ooh, my favorite quote from the book would honestly be, whatever you want to do, just never give up and be inspired and dream on. That's probably one of my things that I said. I know it kind of sounds like corny and cliche, but it's honestly a thing how I feel. Like if you really want to do something in life, make it happen for yourself. I know people get discouraged. I even did a certain time in my life where I was like, I don't know if I should continue. This is not working out for me. But I just kept pushing and kept going. So it's a very small quote, but I feel like it means a lot.
I also have to add in that your mom is mentioned throughout, and I think part of the reason that you have been able to find that confidence is because your mom sounds like she's always right there by your side.
Yeah, she's always been there with me. I mean, she gave birth to me, so.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, my mom, sacrificed everything so I could be where I am right here in life, and I totally thank her over the moon for that. But my mom has always just really instilled me to have, confidence and love myself and everything. Even when I was feeling down, my mom would always make me feel so good about myself. And now I carry that with me forever. So it means a lot.
Yeah, we all know it's not the easiest industry to be a part of, but it does seem like you have that balance with your mom and a good, clear kind of focus and path that you want to be on.
I feel like the industry is never an easy thing to go through. People, sometimes get into points where they're really sad. But I feel like if you have a great support system and friends and family who totally support you and give you great positive energy, I feel like you'll be okay.
You will be okay. And this book is more than okay. It's awesome. Congrats on writing it. And if you guys want to check it out, it is available today wherever books are sold. Put your hands together for Skai Jackson.
Thank you so much.